Hi, and welcome to CLaRI, the University of Buffalo's Center for Literacy and Reading Instruction. Today's podcast is going to focus on using the Sources tab in the NVivo9 program. You'll see over to the left, I've clicked on Sources, and we're going to learn how to import different kinds of sources into NVivo9. And remember, importing a source allows you to bring data in so that you can use the analysis features that NVivo9 has. You'll see, if you click on the tab up here called External Data, there are a few different kinds of sources that you can import. You can import in a document, such as a Word document, a text file, a PDF. You can import an Excel document, a data set. You can import an audio file, a video, or a picture. First thing we're going to import is a Word document. So I'm going to click on Documents. You'll see an Import Internals box come up. Click Browse. Go to my desktop because my test file is right here. I'm going to highlight it and click Open and click OK. And now I'm going to get a Document Properties box. You'll see the name of the file. It allows you to change it if you want to change the file name in NVivo9. And you'll note our description box again. And I will say again, always write a description. What seems clear now may not seem clear 2 years down the road with analysis. Note that it gives you the size of the file you're importing, and it also tells you the date that it was created and by whom, and the last date it was modified and by whom. This becomes important if you have multiple users on one computer. I'm going to click OK. If you double click here, there you go. There's the file embedded within NVivo9. Now we're going to import a video. I'm going to click on Video in my External Data tab, click Browse. I'm going to go to my desktop, go to Session 22 because there's my test video, highlight it, and click Open. Click OK. You notice the bottom left, we have our progress bar. This will turn green as NVivo's working. It's important to note that when you're importing videos, that video files can become very large. The larger your file is, the longer it's going to take for NVivo to import that source in. So keep that in mind if you're sitting down to import a large data set, including multiple videos or large PDFs. See also our wheel on our mouse is moving. There's our green bar, and we've gotten our video properties box again. Verify that this is the name, and again, here I am, a broken record. Always write a description. You can see here that our file is 368 megs, which is a large file size. We have the created on and modified on date. I'm going to click OK. And here we have our two files. Now when I click on the movie, things open up. Click on the document. There are both of our files. Now I'm going to go into 5838 here because the next thing I need to show you is how to link a video to an NVivo source. Because our video was more than 20 megs, it was 360 I believe that one was, we don't actually embed a video within the NVivo project like we did with the Word document. Instead, we link to it. This is similar to what PowerPoint does when you point a video to a PowerPoint presentation. We don't want an NVivo project to be, multiple gigs large because that would slow the program down. So instead, we house the video on our hard drive and we link to it. So NVivo goes to the video on our hard drive every time we click on it to view. So if you move your videos around or you're using an NVivo project on multiple computers, the place that video is housed will change. So here I'm going to click on Session 22, and I have an error message. It says, could not open media file for this source, file not found. Now that's because the video is sitting in a different location, so I need to link it, relink it, and I'm going to update the file location. I'm going to click OK. Now it's going to say, where would you like to link NVivo's video source to the actual video? And that's within Session 22 on my desktop. I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to click Open. And here you go. It is now relinked and we have access to analyze that video. Next thing I want to take a minute to go over is this main sources table that you have. You'll see here for child 5838, I have more than 100 sources in here. There are more than 100 different kinds of files. And this page, it gives us a lot of information about the sources that I've imported into this case study. You know, this on the far left column here, this is item type. If you scroll down, you can see there are different icons. These are all videos. These are documents of some sort. Here is a picture. This is a handy visual to just let you know the different types of files you're working with. And again, if you're clicking on a video and you see that icon, you may need to link it back to your hard drive. The next column is the name, and this is the name of all of your sources. And you'll see here for each type of data set, we have a specific way to name our files. You should think about that. As your data set grows, having a standard way to name files becomes very important in the organization. The next column here tells you if there are any analytic memos attached to this source. You can also click on this and it will take you to the memo for that source. This column tells you how many nodes have been tagged to each source. For example, there were 17 nodes tagged for this document right here, 7 nodes tagged for this one here. This next column is another handy visual, in that it tells you how many times a source was referenced. And it could have been in a memo, an annotation, a node. It could have been on a row of the transcript bar. But this is anytime somebody has somehow tagged or noted a source, it counts that as one thing. You'll see here, this is very important if you have multiple users working on a project. We have the date that each source was created and the initials of the person that created it in NVivo. We also have the last date it was modified and by whom. This helps you if you know you've been doing a lot of analysis on this source here, and I come in and I see that my initials aren't there, that somebody else has done some analysis, that what I'm opening may be different than what I'm expecting. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is, oh, there we go. Let's say you've decided you want to delete a source. So you've imported it in and you've decided it's either the wrong video, the wrong document, or maybe you just don't need that anymore. It's very easy. You go, make sure you're in your sources, not nodes or classifications, but you're in your sources menu and you're in the folder. You are going to highlight the item and you're going to right click on it and click delete. It's going to make sure that that's what you want to do. You say yes, right click, delete. You'll find that right click is a very handy button to know as far as features of NVivo9. Click yes, and those files are no longer within the NVivo program. They are still on your hard drive, so if you've linked to a video, that video is still taking up space on your hard drive, but NVivo9 is no longer recognizing it as a file in your project. And that is how you use the Sources tab in NVivo9. Hi, and welcome to CLaRI, the University of Buffalo's Center for Literacy and Reading Instruction. Today's podcast is going to focus on managing your files in NVivo9. First thing I need you to do is open up your NVivo9 program. Once you do that, I'm going to show you how to create a new project. Once your program is opened as mine is, go down to the bottom left side of your program and click on New Project. A new box is going to come up asking you for a title for your project. Create a new project and give you the option to write a description. Always write your description. You'll be very happy later on. Once you've created your title and description, click OK. Give it a second, and it's now opening up a brand new project for you in NVivo9. Let's say you've already created a project and you want to open that project and continue working. Go back to my main menu here. You have two choices. The first is you can open NVivo9 and click on one of these links here. The second, if you weren't working in NVivo9 already, is that you can open your specific project outside of NVivo9. I'm going to click on this file here, which is where I house all of my artifacts and NVivo9 projects, a folder titled NVivo9 projects. Go to my master projects, and I'm going to click on CLaRI case studies.nvp. The NVP tells me it's an NVivo project. Give it a second to load and find all of that work I've already done in this project. And it will open up both NVivo9 and specifically the project you just clicked on. Something else we should talk about is how to link NVivo9 to a storage place on your hard drive. So that set of file folders that we just went to here, we can actually link this file folder to NVivo9 so that every time we open up NVivo9, we can tell it, go to this location and pull all of the projects that you find. So for this, getting ahead of myself, I'm going to click on File and Options. And again, we're telling NVivo9 where to find all of our projects. Under File Locations, you're going to click Browse. I'll go to that file I showed you, and I'm going to say NVivo9 projects. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click Apply. And OK. Now, when I go back to my main menu, and I click Open a Project, which is a third way to open up projects, it takes me to that file structure on my hard drive and lets me choose any of the files that have been created there. This time, I'm going to open CLaRI case study number 3. Give that a second. And there's CLaRI case study number 3. Next thing we're going to talk about is how to save your project. So you've done some work in NVivo and you'd like to save it and close it out. What you'll find is NVivo is pretty intuitive about saving. First thing you'll notice when you're working in NVivo is that every 15 minutes a little box pops up asking you if you would like to save your changes. Rule of thumb is to usually say yes. Another option is in the top left side of your screen up here. You see a disk drive. You can save your project that way, or you could also save it by doing Control+S. Another function that NVivo9 has is it allows you to save your project with another name. So similar to projects like Microsoft Office, where you can click Save As, NVivo9 does something similar. The difference is that they call it copying a project instead of Save As. So what you do to copy a project, so this is when you want to change the name of the project, you click File, you go to Manage, Copy Project. Now it's going to ask you for a new name. And this is Test Copy Project. Click Save. Give it a second to work. I'm going to minimize this so we can take a look at my desktop. And there it is, Test Copy Project. And you have a copy of that sitting on your desktop. So what happens if you want to delete a project? The best way to delete a project with NVivo9 is to actually delete the project outside of the NVivo9 program. So here's our test copy project on my desktop that we just made. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to delete. It's going to ask me if I'm sure, and I'm going to say yes. When I go back to NVivo and go to the main menu, you'll see that it's not there. But what do we do when a file is there? Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. There it is, Test Copy Project. So when we click on it, you get an open project failure. And it says, hey, I can't find that project where you told me it would be. Do you want me to remove it? Click yes. And you have just deleted your file from both your hard drive and NVivo9. And the last thing you might want to do is the opposite. Let's say you have multiple versions of a project that you'd like to merge together, or you and a partner have been working on an NVivo project separately and now you'd like to pull that together to do some analysis. What you're going to do there is open up the file you would like to merge your other files into. So I'm going to click on My Test Project. Oh, I've already removed that one. So let's go to Create a New Project. Here we go. So here is my project. In order to merge it with another, you're going to click on External Data, Project, and it's going to ask you which project you'd like to import. I'm going to go to my desktop, go to my case studies data, click on Project, and let's merge it with number 3 here. Now notice, even though I'm merging these two projects, my CLaRI case study number 3 will remain in this location. Click Open and click Import. Now this takes a few minutes depending on how large your file size is. But that's all there is to it. You'll see down on the bottom, as the screen bar moves up, it's going through the necessary functions. First it'll merge your sources, then it'll merge your codes and any collections or reports or queries you've made. And that is how you merge a file, a project.